Minor League Baseball isn't entirely about baseball. It's community. It's the ability to spend a summer evening in any town USA watching a sport that is part of the fabric of America. And maybe, if you were lucky, one of those prospects on the field during any given evening would go on to become a star one day. Then, they would be your town star. The Bash Brothers are still remembered in Medford, Oregon. Walla Walla, Washington still claims Tony Gwynn as one of their own. Across America, tiny towns have staked a small part of baseball's folklore for themselves. And even if their teams have long since gone, nothing can take that away from them. But mostly though, minor league baseball is root for the home team. A team to call your own. Look, minor league baseball has never been perfect over the years. Franchises have come and gone. Plenty of unscrupulous individuals have taken advantage of towns and fans over the decades. Despite that, America still loves it. With the minors having experienced a resurgence over the past 3 decades, baseball's ultimate conman got himself involved. Rob Manfred is doing what those old-time carnival grifters couldn't do: destroy minor league baseball. This series looks at how the sport went from America's last great carnival to an opportunistic con and what looks to be the eventual big boxification of the entire system. This is how the minor leagues were lost. When Major League Baseball took over the minor leagues, most attention was paid to the immediate changes being made, the contraction of 40 teams, and a loss of minor league roster spots. These were huge alterations that happened almost overnight, a shocking development many folks still haven't recovered from. As bad as that was, when you look ahead over the horizon, a bleak future emerges. Baseball's powers that be not only wanted to control the entire pyramid, but they also wanted to ensure only those it chose could play ball. In part 1, it was mentioned how minor league baseball teams had become an extension of Main Street for many towns, an identifier, providing a sense of community that had been lost to Walmart and the like over the years. And much like how big box stores snuffed out main streets across the USA by moving in, undercutting prices, and running everyone out of business before jacking up prices once they had eliminated the competition, MLB recognized a similar opportunity was available with minor league baseball. Now we are seeing another transformation. As part of MLB's takeover of the minor leagues, previous rules that prevented a single ownership group from controlling more than one team in any league was eliminated. Prior to this, some groups did own more than one minor league franchise, but it was either in different leagues or through different vehicles, meaning there were degrees of separation. For example, Manhattan Capital owned the Reno Aces, Louisville Bats, and Bowling Green Hot Rods, although they have since divested from the latter two teams. Then there was the Goldklang Group, who spent nearly 30 years buying and selling various minor league franchises. As minor league baseball was looking to negotiate its future with MLB ahead of the expiration of the agreement between the two sides, the CEO of the Goldklang Group, Marv Goldklang, was among those leading the discussions. In a lawsuit filed after MLB's takeover, a few owners of those contracted minor league franchises claimed there was an agreement in place that stated minor league baseball members would not become party to any agreement that would result in the immediate cessation of operations of any member league or club. That, of course, didn't happen. Many believe Goldklang was the reason why. You see, he also has connections to Major League Baseball as part owner of the New York Yankees. One of the more curious decisions in the entire minor league baseball reorganization was the St. Paul Saints, a Goldklang-owned franchise that went from independent ball to AAA, with the Twins picking up the bill for the move. Simultaneously, Goldklang was urging those teams who had been invited to participate in the new minor league setup to sign up. Even if there is no evidence of quid pro quo taking place, something fishy seemed afoot. That became more evident in March of 2023 when the Goldklang Group sold the St. Paul Saints, making a hefty profit in the process. After all, a AAA ball club had far more value than an independent league team. Who was the buyer? Diamond Baseball Holdings. Most people have probably never heard of this group, but they have become the single largest player in minor league baseball. At the time of this video, DBH has acquired 29 minor league baseball franchises since 2021. And while that total is staggering in its own right, it does not tell the entire story. Diamond Baseball Holdings was originally launched by Endeavor, the group perhaps best known in the sports world for owning the UFC and WWE. However, their ownership of the minor league teams caused some issues with the MLB Players Association, since Endeavor also owned the WME talent agency, which represented several ball players. Endeavor would divest from DBH, selling the company to private equity firm Silver Lake. In reality, this was nothing more than a token gesture, since Silver Lake is the majority owner of Endeavor. And perhaps more interestingly, both Silver Lake and Major League Baseball are heavily invested in Fanatics. As for DBH, nothing changed in the sale. The outfit continued to be led by Pat Battle and Peter B. Freund, two hand-picked Major League Baseball patsies. Freund in particular had deep ties to MLB. Not only was he a partner in the New York Yankees like Goldklang, but he was also handpicked by Rob Manfred to oversee the entire minor league reorganization under MLB after it let the final professional baseball agreement expire in 2020. This is what a Trojan horse looks like. To make things clear, DBH isn't the only group to own more than one minor league franchise at the moment. Fast Forward Sports Group owns 2 minor league teams. Hardball Capital Group owns 3 teams. Boxing promoter Lou DiBella owns 2 teams. Greenberg Sports Group owns 2 teams. The Rich family owns 2 teams. Quint Studer owns 2 teams. Main Street Baseball owns 2 teams. Temerity Baseball owns 2 teams. Seventh Inning Stretch owns 3 teams. Brett Sports and Entertainment owns 3 teams. And finally, the Elmore Sports Group owns 3 teams. Meanwhile, a total of 18 additional minor league sides are owned by their MLB parent club. All told, 73 minor league franchises are now controlled by a concentrated group. This is important for 2 reasons. First, it is a poorly kept secret that Major League Baseball will look to eliminate the number of teams in the minor league system moving forward, perhaps by as much as half, from 120 to 60 when the current agreement expires. You now have a group of 12 entities that owns more than half of all minor league franchises. Which ones are going to be contracted? The ones with a connection to Major League Baseball? Or the independent teams who still operate outside the jurisdiction of Manfred and his hand-picked cronies? That brings us to the second issue. Those teams, and really all teams in the minor leagues, are now subservient to what MLB wants. When Rob Manfred justified taking over the minor leagues by saying MLB can provide more efficient marketing for the minor leagues at a lower cost to their teams, what he was actually saying was that the minor leagues would be used to help prop up its investments and the investments of its partners. This is simply a start. Minor league teams will be forced to use whatever vendors MLB wants them to use for other services. It is essentially being used as leverage for baseball's investments or to get better deals for big league owners. Multiple minor league general managers told Ballpark Digest that much of the spontaneity and fun of their jobs has been reduced by MLB-imposed restrictions. For example, now all promotions must be approved by Major League Baseball. That means there's no longer the chance to come up with a quickie promotion to take advantage of whatever has caught the public's fancy at any given moment. Beyond that, there are fewer opportunities for those involved with minor league baseball to get together in and out of the season. The elimination of league offices has made it difficult for those operating minor league ball clubs to get their questions answered by someone who knows what they're talking about. Then again, MLB doesn't really have a vested interest in answering questions from those outside its inner circle of minor league baseball owners. You will notice that every time Diamond Baseball Holdings buys a new minor league ball club, the outgoing owners say some version of the same thing, that DBH is locally focused and committed to being local. That, of course, is the same thing Walmart, Home Depot, and other big box stores said when they started moving into those medium and small sized towns across America. They were committed to the local community, and they wanted to coexist with existing businesses. They then proceeded to drive those businesses out of town, and when that happened, they raised their prices, creating a monopoly. This is something now painfully playing out across minor league baseball. Right now, Diamond Baseball Holdings is playing nice with everyone because they have to. But over time, as that newness wears off, things will change. Corporations like this don't operate locally or individually. That's not efficient. Every team must operate the same way, and once that is done, they will start stripping away anything deemed unnecessary while increasing prices across the board and trying to extract every last dollar from fans. There will also be contentiousness over stadiums and facilities. Diamond Baseball Holdings may be saying things now about its commitment to the cities, but all of these agreements with towns across America expire in 2031. There have already been rumblings in places such as Everett over what the MLB is demanding from cities in order to retain their teams. There's no loyalty here. There doesn't have to be any loyalty. If that majority of MLB approved team owners doesn't get exactly what they want in terms of facilities, they're going to move. And they will do so in the shadiest way possible, by never entering into good faith negotiations. They will instead provide a list of demands late in the process, and then giving the city an ultimatum. Either do this, or lose your team. We know that is exactly what will happen because this is the playbook MLB used to take over minor league baseball in 2020. The goal is to strip mine the lower leagues for every last ounce of value that it can have for itself and its partners, which have been handpicked to own minor league ball clubs. It's a monopoly within a monopoly, a cartel shaking down towns and fans in the name of sport. Major League Baseball wants to have its cake and eat it too. If the organization doesn't want to maintain the minor leagues, it could easily go back to the old days where teams were independent of big league ball clubs. MLB could hold itself a 5 to 10 round draft, maintain rosters of 45 to 50 players, and have those not on the active roster partake in simulated games and drills in Arizona and Florida, something which baseball's analytics brigade believes is far more valuable anyway. After all, they've already come out and said they don't need all these minor league teams and they don't need all of these minor league roster spots. If that's the case, let those teams outside of the baseball pyramid sign whatever players are left, develop them, and, if they become good enough, post them similarly to how the Nippon Professional Baseball League does, or the Korean Baseball Organization does. Of course, doing that would require a massive court battle to topple MLB's horrendously unfair monopoly, whose tentacles extend from Washington, D.C. lobbyists to big box minor league franchises from Scranton to San Jose, and Albuquerque to Altoona. We began this story with the Federal Baseball Club vs. National League U.S. Supreme Court decision in 1922. In that ruling, MLB was granted special immunity from antitrust laws, which allowed them to buy any player from a non-affiliated baseball team for a flat $5,000. It's time to undo that unfair, monopolistic decision and empower minor league baseball to chart its own course for the future. The grassroots of America's pastime should be far more than a cog in a machine that is Major League Baseball. It should be a place where the sport flourishes, a place where people who love baseball can share that passion with future generations, a place that simply isn't a line item on a profit and loss balance sheet. Baseball has historically been championed as America's pastime. Given the treatment of the minor leagues and sport as a whole by Major League Baseball, that concept feels as if it has been left in the past, and those leading baseball are out of time to fix it.